Well, hello again from Tracking the Blood Trail for Christ Ministries. As we're continuing this series of the bucks on the wall, uh, over top of my head is a buck from Western Maryland that was harvested in Allegheny County on my buddy Charlie's farm. The deer was harvested with a bow and arrow, and I had it set up on the side of the ridge, and it just so happens that that ridge laid above a alfalfa and clover field. This deer was previously seen by myself feeding in the field, so I had set this stand along a trail where this deer would, if he followed that trail, would come from above me, angle slightly from my right out in front of me, and then cut down into the field. And on that particular night, he did exactly that. He was very focused on the field because he was watching and paying attention to a few doe that were already in the field. Well, when he got to about between 18 and 22 yards broadside in front of me, I had drawn and was fortunate enough to put an arrow right behind the shoulder and through what I assumed were both lungs. He immediately, as many of you bow hunters know, as the arrow went through, he lunged forward and sprinted towards the field, but his instinct caused him to turn along the edge of the field and climb back up the ridge, which I followed the blood trail. It was very sparse and limited, which was surprised because, like I said, I was able to see the arrow and the fletchings disappear into the body cavity of the deer right where we want to put them as a bow hunter. And so with very limited blood and this being not a large patch of timber, I decided to come back in the morning. So I was there as it was breaking daylight. My friend Rodney had come with me, and we went to the place that I marked the last blood, hoping that in the daylight with better light we would be able to see and trail the deer much better. Well, come to my surprise, no. Where I had found the last blood was the last blood we found. And I worked my way up the ridge because I knew where they had previously strip mined the top of this mountain. They had leveled it off and causing leveling of the top as they pushed that refuse. It created a real steep embankment about 30 to 40 yards steep that was full of thorns and jaggers and so forth. So I expected if we were going to find this deer, that's where he would be. Well, I got to one of the first trails that went up through it, and I did find some blood. I called to my buddy to come up, but it was getting late that he needed to return to work. And I said, well, just give me a few minutes to check some of these locust trees that are growing out in this field. So I climbed up that trail, and like I said, it was very thick, and so I climbed through it and entered the top of the old strip mine that was flattened off. And so I quickly went to one group of locust and the high grass around it to see nothing there. I went to the next group of locust and happened to turn my head to go to another group, and lo and behold, the buck that I was seeking jumps up and runs past me on an angle back towards the edge of that strip, the old strip field, and he went over the bank into those briars. While I'm chasing him as he runs, I don't have a bow. I don't have any of my hunting equipment with me because I expected to find this deer dead. Well, as I got to the top of that steep drop off that was full of briars. He was struggling. He had got tangled up in it, and fortunately, I was able to get up on him and dispatch him rather quickly. Well, the deer is a typical mainframe eight pointy at about between a 15 and 16-inch spread. Uh, he was an extremely mature deer. We estimated between 4.5 to maybe 5.5 years old. We weighed him on the farm certified scale, and he weighed slightly over 203 pounds. So again, a very mature deer that the memory of recovering him will not be gone for too long out of my mind, even though it's been quite a few years. And what exciting time.